Let me just get started. Many people may not know this, but you actually started out, with Sunshine Anderson, working with her. So how did you get that opportunity?
Sunshine Anderson, it was through a dear good friend of mine, Eric Wall, a friend of mine that I met in college. And we left college before I did, and we went to LA. We hooked up with Sunshine, and he gave me a phone call and told me I should come out to LA. And that's how everything got started. That was my LA journey.
Okay. Now, tell me about, did you work with Sunshine Anderson at all? Or, what was the whole situation like?
Sunshine Anderson was actually really cool. My first job with her, they asked me to go on tour with her.
Okay.
And so when I went to finish staging to meet her, I remember meeting Nancy Gray in New York early before. Nancy Gray was managing Sunshine Anderson. So it was a situation where Sunshine Anderson, musical director, didn't show up. So Nancy Gray looked at me and asked me if I could make the band sound better. And there was an opportunity for me to jump at it, and I said yes. So she said I had the job.
Oh, wow.
So it was one of those divine connections, being at the right place at the right time.
Okay.
Preparation means opportunity, right?
Okay. Now, of course, after that, you started working with Dr. Dre and the entire Aftermath camp. How did you connect with Dr. Dre?
It was guys that were coming to Boston, scouting out musicians and writers. They took a trip to LA, and they had a CD of mine. This was during the time Dr. Dre was working with an artist named Truth Hurts. So Dr. Dre had the CD, and he wanted to know who it was. And that's how my journey with Dr. Dre started.
Okay. Now, you've already worked with, a lot of big names throughout the industry, from Dr. Dre to Neo to Eminem to 50 Cent. So, what kind of things have you picked up from being around these people?
Well, Dr. Dre is definitely an amazing mentor to me. He helped me understand the importance of and the physics of sound, how it works. How choosing the right sound is very important. Me being a musician at heart, he showed me the special abilities and patience wise and space and sound. Being a gospel musician growing up in the church, he introduced me to stuff like Parliament, George Clinton, it's very funky stuff, and he helped me transition a gospel sound over into a funk sound. It's almost like he helped me fuse the two. So it was really great because you have a lot of gospel musicians that can't cross over, but he helped me fuse the sound where I didn't need my gospel roots, but I was able to put some barbecue sauce on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How would you describe your production sound?
I would describe my production sounds, I would call it sounds from heaven.
Okay.
Because in heaven, there's no genre of music. And every time I put my hands on a piano or keyboard or any other instruments, I always pray to God, heaven, to direct my fingers and to direct my heart. So everything that I play, it'll have a purpose.
Okay. Now, of course, one of your first major placements was Neo's Stay. So, what was the feeling like finding out that that song was going to be the first single for Neo's first album?
That actually wasn't my first single placement. My first one was, it's a song that I did in college, actually.
Okay.
And it was for the Men in Black 2
Okay.
movie. It was called Nod Your Head. It was a single, and also the theme for the movie, and it was also like the theme for Burger King. And that kind of caught me by surprise because I never thought a song that I did that long ago in college, that Will Smith would want to be his theme for Men in Black 2, which is really cool.
Okay, okay. Now, tell me about what it's like working with Neo, because you guys started working together when he first came out. So, what's that experience like?
Neo was awesome. He's a gentleman. He's very talented. He understands that it's all about the song. That melody is king. He has a great ear for soul, and he's a great lyricist. He has the ability to listen to somebody's story and perfectly craft it out for them in a great song. One thing that made me respect me, I remember he was doing a session. He actually wasn't the artist. He was actually the writer at the time. And I played some music. And the artist looked at Neo and asked Neo, what did you think about this music? Neo looked at me. He was like, I know him. I know he could do better. So when he said that, it's really awesome to work with somebody that not only sees the best in you, but won't let you settle. And then from that moment on, I knew he was going to be legendary.
Okay. Now, you've also produced some tracks on Michael Jackson's latest album. So, were you actually in the studio with him when he made those songs?
Yeah, I worked with Michael for like 7 years, for many years. The songs that y'all heard on the album, the songs that Michael's been crafting for many, many years. He's the kind of guy where he worked on a song for 7 years, and he felt like it's perfectly, fine. Working with him was the ultimate because he had no limitations in what he could do, because he never limited himself to who he was working with. He always approached things as if it was his first time. He was very excited to go new places and travel new distances in music. We was constantly creating our own sounds. And hold on 1 second, it's really loud, but I'm not sure what's
Okay, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, Michael was very in tune with what was going on. So the art that we both thought of is be close enough to the pillar where people can relate to you, but also be far enough away where you're still innovative and you're still fresh.
Okay.
Even though it's good to be, innovative, you also got to leave some kind of string of reality for people because you don't want to lose them. So once you string them and you get them and you have their hearts, then you can take it to new places. But the first thing you got to do, especially with audience who are excited, and if you want to introduce them to a new sound, you got to gently take them there.
Okay.